Howdy folks, and welcome out to the claim. A few weeks ago I was out prospecting on the back side of the property and I came across some really interesting stuff, so I thought I'd share it with you today. So the first thing I happened to notice was a whole grove of these trumpet plants growing all over the place. Now trumpet plants love to grow in mineralized ground, especially heavy iron and all that. And so the old-time prospectors look for these plants to see if this may be a good indication for gold. Now it's no guarantee, but it certainly is a first little clue to get your attention. The other thing I'm looking at is what kind of material is on the ground. Obviously there's lots of quartz and everything, so here's a big chunk of quartz here you can take a look at. This was just sticking up out of the ground and part of it's dirty. We also have quartz monzonite. Here you can see the quartz mixed in with all the other material. It's quartz monzonite. We also have metamorphic rock, which is schist, or excuse me, this is a piece of gneiss, and that's what that looks like. And we also have a piece of schist here. So these are the common rocks that we see around here. You can kind of see the sparklies in it as I kind of twist it around. You get it, see it kind of sparkles in the sunlight. So that's actually some schist. There's also a whole host of other little smaller rocks that are in here too. And there's also a mix of quartz and schist and gneiss kind of in contact zones. Now the other thing I'm looking at is actually the ground itself. You can kind of see how it's kind of a tan color. This looks like some kind of mouse burrow or whatever. And actually looking at animal burrows is a good idea to see what's actually down below, because you look at their tailings from digging tunnels, gives you some idea. So this is somewhat reasonably brown down here, and you know, it's probably a good place to kind of look at. Now as I'm starting to walk down this slope, actually what I'm on is actually kind of a very shallow bench. And as I come down here, the ground begins to get a little darker. As you can see, here's some more animal scratchings. It's starting to have a little bit of a reddish tone to it. And so that looks kind of interesting. And of course, we also have the trumpet plants just, you know, growing all over the place. You can see them there in the background. And so now we're going to slowly move on down to further down the slope. And this is where I actually kind of dug a little bit of hole because the ground looked really red. Look at that stuff, folks. Absolutely red. There's my hole right there. It's kind of in the shadows with the sun starting to set a little bit. But here's some more red dirt parked along here. So usually in my area, the gold is associated with this red dirt. Not all the time, but it certainly is a good point to actually inspect. And of course, again, we got the fields of trumpet plants just all over the place, just kind of scattered here and there. There's a nice one right up there that you can see, and I'll zoom in on that. So that just shows you that this is really good mineral ground. So let's go ahead and see if we can do something to get some gold out of this. So what we're going to do today is use my drilling rig to punch a few holes in the ground and see if there's any gold down below. Now, for those of you who are interested in this, I suggest you go to my previous video that I posted, about a couple of years ago, drilling for placer gold. And I talk all about how I made this thing, what it's all about. But the nice thing about this feature is that it has this auger drill mounted onto this frame. The key behind this is to keep the jarring effect as you're drilling down, you're hitting rocks and it's banging you and hurting your shoulders and stuff like that. This device helps take away all that torque and stress as you're drilling down so you can drill some nice clean holes. Alrighty, so our first hole is going to be right here. I thought I'd start at the top of the hill, and then we'll work our way down. We'll probably punch 3 or 4 holes through here and see what we get. Okay, we got our first hole punch. I think I'm actually on the bedrock, so I'll dig down and check it out, but I think that's about as far as we're going to go with this. So what we're going to do is we're going to punch out all these other holes and then come back later on and we'll take all the dirt from each hole and then pan it out and see if there's got any gold in it. Okay, ready to sink hole number 2. All right, switch on. Should be good. Lock it. There we go. There's a big rock down there. Okay, folks, I think we hit the bedrock on that one, so we'll go ahead and pull it up and move the rig over to the next hole site. There we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to move the drill rig down to this site here where I actually dug already. I'm sure I haven't gone all the way to bedrock, so we'll drop the drill rig right on top of that. So let me go get it. Shows you just how easy this is moving. It's on wheels, so I can maneuver it around reasonably so. And we're just going to come on down here, and we're just going to park it right over the top of this hole. And down we go. Boom! And we're ready for our next hole here. Going to lower her down. There we go. Let's see if she can get her to run. Well, how about that, folks? The bedrock wasn't that deep after all, even when I shoveled it out, so I probably only had to go down another 6 inches to get it. So what we'll go ahead and do is we'll move this out, and we'll kind of go down this way one more place, and we'll sink a hole, and then we'll call it good for the day. It's really not that heavy. All right, let's see here. Yeah, probably right about here ought to do it. Kind of shift it around. Yeah. The nice thing about this rig is you can actually use it on a slope, or probably it's not too steep, or if anything flat. So it's pretty workable just about anywhere. So we'll go ahead and get this thing fired up and see if we can punch another hole here. Let's see, switch on. All right, here we go, down we go. Woo! Oh, there's a big rock down there, folks. I can hear it. Woo! I think we hit the bedrock. So the bedrock here is pretty shallow for the most part. Only just down, not even a couple of feet. Okay, so what we're going to do is we'll just dig out all these holes and collect it all, screen it and all that, and then we'll pan it out. All right, I got my equipment over here, and what we're going to do is when we dig all this out, we're going to mark them with the flags. Like this is number 4 here for this hole. So we'll call this hole number 4, and it's the lowest one. And if you can kind of look back, you see I have buckets all the way up there to the one way up on top of the hill. And so that'll be, the next one will be number 3. And I'm using a red bucket because that's really the red dirt we have. And then we got blue over there, and then also white up on top. So each one of them has a marker flag, so we can put one in the hole. Of course, we're going to cover up the holes once we get them all dug out so no animals fall into them. And then we'll put a marker on it so we know where we dug. And then we'll also put a marker in each bucket too, so when we go to process it out, we know which one we're dealing with. Okay? So let's go ahead and get started with this. All right. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm just going to collar the hole a little bit, just to kind of take off what was in here, and we'll go ahead and stick that in the bucket, and then we'll go ahead and finish pulling the rest out with this post hole shovel. Now, some of you probably wondering, well, how come the thing didn't drill it all the way out? And I don't know why. I think it's just the way the ground is and just the way it's made up. It just kind of does that, and it collapses real easy too. So I'm going to probably have to dig it out with this shovel as well. There we go. There we are. At least get it started anyway. There we go. I think we're almost getting there to the bottom. Let's see if we can stick it down there just to be sure. Yep. Yeah, I think we're on the bottom here. This is a pretty shallow hole. It's only about not even a foot, and we're already on the bedrock. Yep. Okay. And you can see how dry this dirt is. We haven't had rain out here in the desert for at least a good 6 to 8 months. It's been really bone dry. We didn't even get a monsoon this year, so everything is just extra super dry. Even the plants are kind of showing the stress of it too. But you know, it is a desert, so that's what it is. All right. Yeah. Definitely on the bedrock here. Okay, very good. So this is sample number 4. We'll put the flag in it, and then we'll go ahead and stick our other flag in here, and we'll go ahead and proceed to cover up the hole so that way critters don't get into it. There we go. And yet we have it marked so we know where we dug. All right, so we'll take this bucket out and we'll process it up a little later. All right, move on up to the next hole. Okay, we got all the holes cleared out and in the buckets. We've got our markers down on both sides. So the next step will be to screen the material, and then we'll go ahead and pan it from there. Okay, we're going to screen out our material. So I've got these 2 screens. One's a 1/2 inch and the other one's a 1/4 inch. And so we'll go ahead and just screen that down. Makes it a little easier to pan. So incidentally, this is hole number 1. So we'll go ahead and dump this in here. And we've probably got about maybe 3/4 of a 5-gallon bucket in here. We'll go ahead and dump that out. Shouldn't take too much to screen down and classify. This ground is pretty bone dry. It doesn't take much to, sift through. Now, some of you are probably wondering, yeah, I am going to detect this with a metal detector later on. Make sure we don't have any nuggets that get away. So yeah, always do that. You never know. Okay, that'll do it for the 1/2. So now we'll go ahead and switch spots, and we'll use the 1/4 here. And this may take a little bit more time because you got a finer screen. Lots of dust, isn't it? Whew. Probably should use a mask, but you know what? I'm tired of wearing a mask in town. It's great to get out here and have some fresh air and not wear a damn mask. All this crazy virus stuff going on and everything. Golly. So, yep. So what if I suck in a little silica? All right, that's our last load. There we go. Okay, so now we have probably about a half a bucket's worth of dirt here. And so we'll go ahead and put the, dump this into the Garrett Super Sluice, and we'll go ahead and pan it all out. And we'll do that with the rest of the remaining 3 holes here, same process. Okay, I've got the Garrett Super Sluice, so we're going to use this to pan out the material. Now, I've got quite a bit in this bucket over here. This is bucket number 1, so we're going to start off with that first. And so what I'm going to do is just kind of pan it out as much as I can, then dump it into this bucket. And then once I get this bucket completely cleaned out, we'll take this one and dump it back into the pan for the final show to see what we have. Okay, we'll go ahead and load up some scoops of material in here. We'll try to fill it up as much as we can. There we go. That should be enough to get started with. Okay, give it a good shake here. You can see how we got a lot of material that needs to get wet. Get it all there. Get it shaking around. And in the words of Jeff Williams, yeah, you're going to get wet. There we go. Get all this blonde stuff off. Okay, well, getting this down pretty good. There we go. Okay, that's about as far as I want to take it here. So we'll go ahead and just take this and dump it into the other bucket, and then we'll go get another load. Now, I'm not going to bore you with all the details here, so just go ahead and take care of that real quick and load up another round. And when we get this bucket empty and we get this one filled up with concentrates, we'll go ahead and go with the final pan. So be back in a minute. And we're back. This bucket's now empty, so we'll go ahead and take all the concentrates out of this bucket over here, feed it back into the pan. There we go. Okay, we've got that all cleaned out. Now we're ready to go ahead and pan our final concentrate. There it is. Well, let's see a lot of black sand in this already. So go ahead and shake this out. Get that gold to settle onto the bottom. Do a few cuts here. What I like about the Garrett Super Sluice is it really cuts through a lot of material. Makes it real easy when you're doing this kind of stuff. All right. Moment of truth here. Shake it all back down. Okay, let's see what we got here. Not seeing anything yet. Ooh, we got a nice chunky garnet piece right here. Bring this up to the camera so you can see it. Look at that little chunky garnet. I'll give you a little closer view maybe later on here. Yeah. But I'm not really seeing any gold just yet. Oh my gosh, yeah, there's... well, I don't even know if the camera resolution can pick this up. There's like two little tiny specks. I'll bring this up around to the camera so you can see it here. Oh gosh, yeah. Let's see if we can bring that up. I don't know how well that's going to focus here. Ugh. But I'll bring my finger over here. There, just two little dots right there. So, yeah, hole number one I wouldn't consider to be really grandiose. So, but anyway, at least you got an idea what it looks like there. So, all right, let's move on to the next one. We got bucket number 2 here. So we'll go ahead and load it into the pan. Now, I'm not going to bore you with all the panning details and stuff like that. So I'm just going to wait till I get all the concentrates packed into this, and then I'll bring it back, and then we'll get the final show. And we'll do that for all the samples. We're back, and I've got everything all dumped out of this bucket here. So we got all the concentrates in here for hole number 2. We'll go ahead and give it a good shake. If there's any gold in there, and get it down to the bottom. We'll go ahead and cut it down. All right, let's see if we got anything in here. So far, I'm not seeing anything. Seeing lots of garnets, little tiny pieces of garnets. There's one little, I think I got a little teeny speck of gold there. Oh, let's see here. Getting down to nothing really exciting, I have to say that. Yeah. Yeah, there's, wow. All right, I try to bring it up to the camera so you try to see it. There, I'm seeing about one, two, three little dots here. And they're just like, we're talking 400 mesh size gold here. So I'll just kind of bring it up to the camera best we can to see it. And you just barely see them dotted in there, just barely. Yeah, I don't even know if the camera resolution's even good enough to show that. So, all right, well, hole number 2 certainly wasn't exciting. So we'll go ahead and dump this out, and then we'll go ahead and go to number 3. I'm kind of hoping that'll pan out a little better because that's the red stuff. That's the stuff that I was most interested in. So we'll go ahead and get that one out, and we'll start processing it. And then we'll be back in a little bit once we get all everything concentrated down for you. We're back again. This is hole number 3. This is the concentrates out of this bucket. So we'll go ahead and pan it down and see how we're doing. All right, drain this off. Yep, a lot of black sand in there. Okay, let's see if we got anything. All right, so I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, same thing, just a tiny little microdots. Again, I'll bring it up to the camera. Don't know if you'll be able to see it or not. Yeah, we'll see if we can get it in there for you. Yeah, just a few little dots in there, just nothing impressive. All right, well, we'll go to the 4th bucket and get that panned out and see what we get. Here we are at a final pan out. This is hole number 4. So I got all the concentrates out of this bucket, put it in the pan here, and let's see what we get here. Get it all settled down. Now this material looked a little different than the others. The others were more like a clay powder, and this stuff actually had a lot of gravel in it. So I'm kind of hoping maybe we'll see something here. So we'll pan on down, cut it down here a little bit. Okay, down to the last little bit here. All right, let's see if we get anything. All right, we'll spin it around so you can see it in the camera. All right. Well, now I'm starting to see little tiny microdots. Oh my gosh. Yeah, little microdots all through here. I mean, we're talking 150, 200 mesh looking stuff. Yeah, it's pretty fine here. Let's see if we can, get that cleared out. Yeah, that's about it. I'll do one more pass. Yeah, that's about it. Okay. So, let me get in here, bring it up to the camera so we can try to see it a little better. You can just see there's a nice little piece of gold right there. There's a few little dots right there. See if I can get it into the camera a little closer for you. Yeah, there it is. So, yeah, that's about it. So that's test hole number 4. Well, our first 3 test holes were kind of a bust. I mean, all we have is real super microdot type gold and everything. Hole number 4 was actually much better. It had a piece that was probably about 60 mesh. Now, does this require maybe a little bit more investigation? Yeah, probably so. I'll start poking around, maybe drill a few more holes, do some testing and all that, especially down by where hole number 4 is located. Now, you know, it wasn't really great. We didn't get a big showing of gold, but you know what? That is how it is when you go prospecting. You never know what you're going to find, but it's always great to get out and try to find something, because the more you keep poking around, you never know. You may get lucky and find that really nice piece of gold. So that's about it for now, folks. So if you like this video, be sure to smash that like button. And also, if you want to see more videos, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the little bell, so that way you can get more information when I ever post another video. In the meantime, I wish you the very best in your prospecting adventures. Get out there and find some gold, because you never know what you're going to come up with. And we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.